Hey, what's up, world? Checking in from the virtual HQ. Another great episode of the podcast, The Culture Conversation. I'm your host, Twingq. We have a special guest today, hailing from the west side of Mississauga, Ontario. My good friend, somebody that's doing great things in the media space, telling these highlighted stories with our basketball culture here in Canada, and has really developed the infrastructure with the pro-am and a lot of the stuff that he's doing off-court with a lot of these pro guys. So with no further ado, guys, put your hands together for Kayon Mayers, bro. What's up, bro? Welcome
Yeah,
to the show.
I'm good, bro. No cap. Like, this is actually like a big opportunity for me just because I've been seeing what you've been doing. So the fact that you even asked me to be on here is like, I guess, kind of like to me, like it's like validity of like, oh, like you're doing good things. You know what I mean? When a guy like you reaches out. So I really appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. I've been tapped in on the journey, obviously developing my media house and a lot of the stuff that we've been doing here at TGQ. I actually, had a chance to see you develop, on the media side and tapping into a lot of these old stories, a lot of these unsung hero stories
Hmm.
that a lot of people don't really know about.
Hmm. Yeah.
So we're going to kind of take a stab into your creative media channel with the Northway and
Hmm.
kind of just speak about that and like how that whole concept started.
I'm just gonna be so honest with this, bro. So for me, like obviously, like growing up hooping in the GTA, like that was a big part of it. So this brand originally actually started in high school as a clothing line. So like 2012, before 2012. So like we used to have like local tournaments at our community center. We used to sell clothes, and because we all had like a group of my friends and myself had like we were popular, like it just kind of like blew up quick. But at the rate it was growing, we're all in high school. I'm playing prep basketball. Like we couldn't really maintain it because the money wasn't there and like the time wasn't there. So like I didn't want to let this brand go to waste. So I saw an opportunity to kind of transition into basketball. And at first there was no plan. I was just posting. Like I was listening to Gary Vee. I was seeing guys like you do stuff, and I'm like, okay, well, I have this vision. Like, how do I make it come to life? Um, so long story short, through like just starting, it it helped us find our own identity. Because I was like, I'd look at Slam, I'd look at Complex, I'd look at your stuff, I'd look at everyone, and be like, yo, is there a way to do this? There's no real like blueprint. So, um, we kind of just got here, and now we have our own identity. So it's been like that.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing as like media creatives, it's very hard like creating a content and finding the right content to create as an art in
Mm-hmm.
itself. You know what I mean? So it's like you kind of just have to start creating, and
Yeah.
within the time of creating, you find that niche or
Mm-hmm.
that niche that you want to speak to and what people are gonna more tap into, and for myself, that was like a trial and error experience that I had to go through with starting my media stuff and doing a lot more of the marketing side of it,
Mm-hmm.
and then now when I'm traveling to different environments and kind of sharing the stories of like how the Drew League was started or the Dyken League or the EBC at Rucker was started and that history and that iconic storytelling,
Mm-hmm.
I think more people are drawn to that. You know what I mean? And obviously for guys like us that actually like played in a definitive time period with the hoop culture, I feel like for us to kind of tell those stories
Yeah.
and kind of uplift the community is huge. We talk about like a guy like Mike Kabongo who's
Mm-hmm.
been on the podcast plenty of times, or Daniel Mullins, who's a regarded legend to come out of the East End, and just hearing stories of these guys that may not get their stories told.
Mm-hmm.
It's like kind of giving them a platform to kind of tell their stories and kind of bridges the gap between the new generation and
Mm-hmm.
like more of like the golden era. You know what I mean? Because
Exactly.
I feel like guys like us, we kind of came in at a unique period because it was like the ending of like the OG era, but like into the golden era.
Yeah.
Like this was like pre prep school, pre AAU
Yeah.
buzz. Like what I mean, we're playing AAU and stuff like that, but it wasn't as big as it is now in terms of like shoe deals and all these
Mm-hmm.
things. So it's kind of good to kind of see that growth and that shift in the culture. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
just understanding that we're pretty much a part of this culture and this shift as well, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So obviously, just I wanted you to talk or to draw a little bit on your connection as a player and like how important is that for you to kind of use that as advantage to tell these stories.
Yeah, to me, I think it's a big deal because I feel like that's what's missing. Um, and like just to speak candidly, and obviously this is with all due respect to everyone else doing their thing. With no disrespect to anybody. It's just that I feel like the space has gotten very like money driven, which is dope. Like, cause like you know, with more infrastructure, more business, that's more opportunities for the next generation. But um, if you don't know where you come from, you can't get to where where you need to go. So I wanted to use my experience, my network from my playing days, and kind of like thrust that into the market right now, just because I feel like it's like for a long time, except like as of late, like Canada basketball has been very commercial. Like it's like let's be real. If we look at the NBA players and all the teams, like
Yeah.
it's like urban. Like let's be real. So like we don't listen to rock music. We don't do none of that stuff. Like we're rap. We were into rap. We're into Caribbean culture. So now it's like it's good to see like Canada basketball creating content and events that actually reflect the true face of Canadian basketball. So I think there just needs to be more of that in the community.
Exactly, bro. I think, and man, you touched on like a very important part because a lot of these like forward-facing media houses and like channels and stuff
Yeah.
like that, the people that reflect those companies are people that are like from Kamloops, BC. No
Yeah.
disrespect to Kamloops,
Yeah.
BC,
Yeah.
but we're coming from a diverse melting pot of culture here in
Mhm.
Toronto and the GTA as well.
Mhm.
It is very important to fill or occupy those spaces with people that reflect their community that you're
Mhm.
serving. And we're gonna get into like stuff with obviously the CBL, which is
Yeah.
another primary example, and we can talk a little bit about their franchises and stuff like that. So I wanted to kind of take a stab at that and kind of turn there in terms of what are your thoughts on the whole infrastructure of the CBL and
Mhm.
obviously them going into their fourth season. Just kind of talk a little bit about that.
Honestly, I love what they're doing. I think they have the right person running it too, and Mike. Very down to earth guy. Every time I've seen him, and the fact that he even um, he'll follow like he follows our platform on Twitter before it was really growing. So he's tapped into like what's going on, and to see the growth and to create a product that everyone believes in, and then you're bringing on like the right guys. Like we're seeing our local heroes per se get hired, like the Ashton Smiths who's coaching there. We're seeing the guys like Javon Shepard out in Ottawa. We're seeing guys like David Tyndall getting the assistant coach jobs, or he was coaching last year. So it's like he's doing it the right way. Like it's tapped into the culture per se of each community, and it's like a good mix of business and basketball and culture, because it's like the NBA has done the best job of that, because the NBA understands that without culture there is no NBA. The players make the league what it is.
Absolutely, talk about it. And I think too with the CBO, which kind of was really surprising to me, was the talent pool. I think
Hmm.
the last season really opened my eyes to seeing like a lot of the guys get summer league contracts or G
Hmm.
League contracts per se. You look at a guy like Lindell Wigginton, who was a
Yeah.
standout for the Honey Badgers, and he actually walked his way into a nice spot on the Milwaukee Bucks,
Yeah.
like a championship contending team.
Exactly.
And obviously just kind of seeing Niagara have two guys at one point sign NBA contracts. It
Hmm.
kind of just speaks on the culture that they kind of developed in the league, and obviously you got to give a big credit to the front office guys like Antwi
Hmm.
that kind of had his
Hmm.
pockets and working alongside NBA athletes as well, and
Hmm.
kind of using that experience to kind of create a culture here in the CBL. So all in all, I think the growth of the league is obviously paramount. We talk about the new three franchises. What do you think about that?
About the growth of the league, or the
Yeah, and like the three new expansion leagues. So we got
oh, okay,
Montreal,
yeah.
Scarborough, obviously, and then Newfoundland. Like, so in terms of like those markets and stuff, like what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's dope. It's funny because I've been keeping my eye on Montreal for a minute now, and obviously like the growth of players there. And I grew up playing against a lot of those guys and with them during AAU, so I always knew like Montreal had talent. So to me, it was like, oh, like that's a no brainer. Like it's good they finally got that right. Then Newfoundland, like playing out east, I got an opportunity to play against their college team. So there's a basketball culture there, and these fans will support it because they're looking for something to support of that nature. And then it was also obviously Scarborough, like as one of the. I feel like there's like 8 to 10 cities in the GTA that are responsible for like putting out the major pockets of talent in Canada basketball, and Scarborough's definitely one of them.
Mm,
So I was like,
yeah,
that was just like a no brainer to me. So I feel like every move they've made has been calculated and it's been tied to the community. They know what they're doing.
yeah, absolutely. I think we've seen like Montreal to me. I actually got to do some research with the basketball culture there, and they have a lot of talent.
Hmm.
You talk about like Lugens Dort,
Hmm.
you talk about Chris Boucher,
Hmm.
guys that really found their lane in the NBA as of
Hmm.
late. The Benedict Mathurin, the draft prospect that
Yeah.
just came out of Arizona as well. So
Hmm.
Montreal definitely has been producing talent. And like you said, even back when we were playing AU with like Kenny Cherry and all these guys,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Junior Lamamba and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So it's really dope to see. I think with obviously being a Scarborough native, it's one of the best feelings because we're a part of that journey.
Hmm.
Like from Scarborough Blues days, and
Yeah.
obviously having a Crop of Talon and Pope, and
Yeah.
having a Team Ontario team with 5, 6 Scarborough guys, which
Hmm.
was never unheard of.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Was is everything that kind of pays the way or pays our dues to now have a GTA first team. So
Hmm.
I think that's really dope, and I'm really seeing how they serve the community now. We're connecting culture and sports within the community
Hmm.
because obviously from a business standpoint, you still have to serve the community
Hmm.
because that reflects your consumer base group and your
Hmm.
fans, right? So, obviously we've been, tapping in as of late on Thursday. They obviously announced the signing of J. Cole.
Yeah.
So, yeah, what are your thoughts on that, man? Because no disrespect, I love Cole. He's one of my favorite artists, but
Yeah.
yeah, let's talk about that, bro.
Um. Yo. Obviously, like he has a basketball history. Obviously, high school, growing up with like the guy on the time was on the Thunder. I think his name was like something Cook. He was a shooter, so he has that exposure to elite level basketball and knowing what it takes to get there. Um,
Yeah.
Playing in North Carolina, but like to me, like, and he's one of my favorite rappers too. Um, he is he's a rapper, so it's hard for like me to be like, oh, like okay, it was a good PR move, but like from the standpoint of like long term gain, like I don't think it was a good move. I think if he focused fully on basketball, he would have definitely probably made it to a pros just because he you can't be the one of the top 5 best rappers and that's work ethic that translates anywhere.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, absolutely.
it's a good like I get it, like it's a good PR move, like it'll blow up the league, fans will want to come and see and ticket spends, but it's like if you're trying to get to the NBA's level, I just feel like that wasn't the move to make from a basketball purist standpoint. You know what I mean?
Mm. Yeah, and I think to take it one step further, as like basketball purists and understanding
Hmm.
like hoop culture, like the one thing that you don't want to do is you don't want to like hoop when
Hmm.
you're not at that elite or peak
Hmm.
level. Like we look at like a guy like a rapper who's had a prominent career in college in Dave East.
Mm. Yeah.
Some guy that played D1. He was in the same class as Jeff Green, James Harden, and
Hmm.
Kevin Durant. He made the All Maryland team with like Gravis Vasquez
Hmm.
and
That's
KD.
tough.
So and he played DCSO. So
Wow.
this is a guy that had a really storied career.
Yeah.
And as soon as he got into rapping, he had to disconnect because he was like, the people that know me for hooping,
Yeah.
they knew me at that level. So
Hmm.
I'm not going to go into a charity game now and
And
kind of
play. Yeah.
tarnish
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
legacy because if I'm not in shape, if I'm not at my peak
Yeah.
level, I'm not going to go and, tarnish my
Hmm.
legacy. And I know, like, obviously Cole has been very open about it. It's like his desires to play pro hoops, which I think is dope because it's hard too, because a lot of people will judge you based on like what you do.
Hmm.
Right? We talk about this now, like us being like athletes per se, and then now having like companies
Hmm.
getting into business now. Like sometimes it's hard to disassociate the two. It's
Hmm.
like you have two different identities.
Yeah.
People address you on how you like what you do. Sometimes that's
Hmm.
the culture that we live in.
Yeah.
So obviously, like I know you as a basketball player, but I've grown to see your transition. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? And I address you as a stand-up person, like business-wise.
Thank you.
We love the game,
Yeah.
we love the hoops, but like you get what I'm saying,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So to kind of before I take it on a tangent, I think with J. Cole, it's hard because we know he's a great rapper,
Hmm.
but in terms of like playing against guys that are fresh out of college,
Hmm.
obviously guys that are trying to make it to the NBA and the G League,
Hmm.
it's tough. I just can't physically see him guarding a guy like Dwayne Notice
Yeah.
or a guy like Daniel Mullins. You know what I mean? Just knowing their body of work that they've done put
Yeah.
in, because these are like 7-8 year pros,
Hmm.
But on the business side though, and I think you can kind of talk a little bit about that, the unique media value
Hmm.
and the commercial value and ticket sales and revenue and all these
Hmm.
things that do drive sports organizations.
Hmm.
I think that's where they kind of capitalize on it. I think the CEBL, if you ask me, they need to now leverage this because who knows how long he's going to be playing in the league.
Hmm.
He's supposed to be going on tour on the 10th of June, right?
Oh,
So
wow.
it's like, yeah,
So
exactly.
this is a
He's
PR
not
move.
playing the whole. But same thing with the BAL, right?
Hmm.
Last year he did the BAL and he played actually in 3 games.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
signed
Yeah.
a 6-game deal, right? But he was actually marketing and promoting his album the off season, right? So like I get it. Maybe it's like okay, let me just boost my sales, get into a new market, and I think it does more for the CEBL than it does for him.
Hmm. Definitely. So he's
If you get what I'm
because
saying?
it's Drake's team, right? So it makes sense.
Yeah,
Well, Drake and Sam, I get it. Like, but
yeah,
I mean, yeah, that makes sense because he probably took
yeah.
it over here. Like, look what I did with the BAL. I could do this for you. Pay me a
Mm-hmm.
X amount of dollars. I get it.
Yeah, so it does, like I said, like I tried to disconnect from like obviously being like an athlete or a hooper, and you got to understand the business, right?
Yeah.
Because I think that's the thing about this sport that with the change in eras, you have to understand that like the business sense is what keeps like young African American males like ourselves out of the loop,
Mm.
because
Hmm.
we sign these contracts that we're not aware of, and then we wonder why guys go overseas and get paid $2,000 a month.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
You get what I'm you
That
get what I'm
irks me.
saying?
It irks me because they don't understand the business. It irks me.
You know what I mean? So it's good to kind of like do the research, right? Like I see a lot of people are investing in the ticket
Hmm.
sales, the season tickets,
Hmm.
because they think Cole is going to play the whole season,
Oh, so it's the
right?
miss.
But not know exactly the
Oh, okay.
misinformation and
Yes.
the stuff like that we talk about, right? But with everything in the business of sports, man, you gotta like put your time in. You gotta learn the business, and you gotta see it.
Mm.
So it's definitely gonna be very interesting to see how everything unfolds.
Mm.
What is your predictions of this season? Like, what teams are you? What teams do you think will make that deep run?
Um, first, like, um, I think it was dope how you broke down that whole J. Cole situation. If you guys get a chance, go read his post, and yeah, it was a great breakdown. And then second,
Appreciate it.
I would say like for me, I love Hamilton just because bro, I have a lot of people I know on that team, but I just feel like they're a team of dogs, and they're gonna do what it takes. A lot of guys who have things they want to prove. Obviously, like seeing Dwayne come off, I think it was an Achilles injury, so
Mm,
he has a lot to prove. Caleb Ogata, who just came from Australia, he's definitely an NBA prospect. Kobe McEwen, seeing all that he's went through, the ups and downs of his career, and if who knows if he was at a different school, different situation, he'd probably be in the league by now because character
yeah.
wise, he has everything. He has a work ethic, all that stuff, talent. So
Hmm.
knowing those guys, like seeing those guys and seeing that I know their story and the things they have to prove is dope to me because I think they're gonna blend extremely well. But we'll see. There's definitely between them. Edmonton always does well, and then I want to see how Montreal does. I want to see
Mm,
because they have some guys too.
yeah. I feel you. Like
Yeah.
I think Hamilton always they got a good coaching staff.
Hmm.
They always have good guards too.
Yeah.
Like they always have 5 6 guards, or they always have a really good guard
Yeah.
rotation. So it's gonna be dope to see. I think they need to just kind of put it all together
Yeah.
and figure it out. I'm very excited to see Niagara. By the way, I know they got some key pickups.
Niagara's always good.
You
That's
know,
my fault. Oh my gosh, that's my fault.
Nah, that's cool, bro. It's cool. Yeah, but Niagara for sure. I think the addition of a couple of those high major guys, they got Alonzo Walker, who is also
Mm,
kind of sleeper as well,
yeah.
an athletic wing. Obviously they get the return of Daniel Mullins as well.
They got the
When
Scrub
he's
Brothers.
hella healthy. Yeah, exactly. So it should be Edmonton as well too.
Hmm.
They're trying to go for that three-peat now. They went
Hmm.
back to back in the last 2 seasons, so it's definitely going to be interesting. But also, man, I gotta be honest, man. Like this is when my bias comes in. I want to see that Scarborough. I want to see that Scarborough championship, bro. I don't know if they could do it though, but
Yeah,
I gotta remain loyal to the soil,
of
bro.
course. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yo,
yeah. So
shout out to Antwi as well. Just I feel like um he's built. I'm guys like him and Javon Shepherd to see how they've transitioned out of their playing days. It's such a rough
let's talk about it.
transition for most guys,
Yeah,
and every kid, like even now, I deal with a lot of kids, and it's like, oh, you think like no disrespect, I hope you get to the league, but like
yeah,
brother,
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
steps you
for
have to
sure.
take and you're not hitting these marks that you should be hitting if you're trying to get to the league. Just because like yes, we
Absolutely,
never made it to the league, but we have friends who are in the league. We saw their journey, so we
mm,
know the marks that they had to hit. So it's like have
absolutely.
not have a plan B, but understand that there is life after basketball. So to see the Antwees and the Javon Shepherds in the GM positions, like and someone of our hue, like you don't see that. So it's dope.
Yeah, yeah, man. I've pretty much done. Speaking, about Tweet, man. I done pretty much watched his whole
Hmm.
that whole last maybe 10 years, man. Just
Hmm.
obviously meeting him as a player and understanding that he was, one of the top players in the city and
Yeah.
having a illustrious career at a junior college and then Arizona State and then, working alongside with Harden
Hmm.
and doing the NBA stuff and building his brand and the clothing line, the experience events and, now to see him in a position where he can kind of impart like
Hmm.
his experiences and, the culture stuff that he's doing. It's amazing to see him like as a young professional who's like an African American,
Hmm.
like who wouldn't want to be like that?
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
It's
I think
possible.
it's like
Yeah.
exactly, and it's very important to showcase that
Yeah.
because let's be honest, bro, he probably could have played in the league.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No cap. Like
You get what
he
I'm
was like
saying?
that.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like it just goes to show, man, that you always gotta as time changes, you gotta reinvent yourself.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So obviously we spoke about the CBL and the infrastructure of Canada basketball. Now I think we're beginning to see a shift in the new era of hoops. So what do you think is the current state of the hoop culture now in 2022, bro?
Yo, it's a lot different. Um, just being around the space. Trying to find a way to stand out ourselves as a brand. Um,
Mm,
I think there's so many options for these kids, and it's like um, there's so many scouting platforms, there's so many circuits. So it's like kids have endless opportunities. I just feel like it's good. They just got to see what works best for them. So I think it's probably the culture, the state of the culture in Canadian hoops is probably the best it's ever been, and especially with the nil stuff too. So if you really build a
Yeah,
brand, like you can really make money.
yeah, exactly. It just man, it's very refreshing to see, you know. And I think like the innovators, like the AAU program
Mhm.
guys, the Ro Russells,
Mhm.
the Mike Georges, the Tony
Mhm.
McIntyres, and all these guys that served as innovators, ambassadors, and really had
Mhm.
to take a lot of hits, man, for
Yeah.
this next shift that we're seeing. We
Yeah.
talk about, obviously, I'm not really, as a hooper purist, I'm not a fan of this whole influencer like basketball
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
I get it, get your money, YouTube, yeah, like I get that part, but I just feel like, in terms of like how the game is played now, and I don't know, I just think like now it's more important to like just showcase highlights,
Mhm.
and it's not about competing,
Mhm.
So aside from that, though, I think the talent pool is getting a lot more better. I think these kids are developing at a faster rate with the
Mhm.
influx of like training. I think
Yeah. Yeah.
basketball training is more prevalent in these times than it's
Mhm.
ever been. I think back in our time, we are just more focused on playing,
Bro.
runs, runs, runs. You know
Bro.
what I mean? And
It's so
that
true.
I think that competitive nature and environment
Yeah.
helped our game.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like you could have been like one of the, I guess, low level players on any team you played in.
Mhm.
But if you play with a good team every day,
Mhm.
you've seen your improvements.
Mhm.
Like let's say like you go to a powerhouse AAU program and like you're not really playing, but you practice every day against like
Yeah.
great guys
Yeah.
or high major prospects. Then
Yes.
you would go back to your high school and you'd be the guy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that confidence, that competitive environment that made you a better player. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But now it's more emphasis on like skill development, getting in the gym, and the basketball knowledge has grown
Yeah.
because like I think the exposure to media.
Mhm.
So more guys are understanding like how to get better at a rapid rate because they're keen in on skill development, which I think it's a very integral part. I think that's more important than playing in today's generation. I think kids should focus more on that aspect of learning the game and becoming a better athlete. And
Mhm.
then I think you can translate those
Mhm.
skills into life as well.
Mhm.
So that's why I think skill development is a huge element in today's game.
No, I agree, bro. And it's true, like you said. Like I feel like that's why even like guys who've been there need to come back into to the community because
Yeah,
um
absolutely.
these kids are blind. Like they're just like sometimes they don't have a mentor if they come from single parent households, if their parents don't have a basketball background, and they could be going down the wrong path. So the culture is the hoop culture has definitely grown, and there's a lot of positives about it, but we need to just find a way to keep the quote unquote OGs involved in helping mentor the kids' development and career.
Yeah, I think that's huge, man. Like reaching back down, man. I think any opportunities we get, I think that's huge for the culture to go in a
Hmm.
progressive rate. You know what I mean? I kind of get. It's sad to see like great players that you grew up with, and I know it's hard because sometimes they don't want to get too heavily invested in going back to a career that maybe they didn't really get the best out of it.
Hmm.
But I just think that in terms of like, we should always serve our culture first.
Hmm.
Here on a culture conversation, that's what it's about. It's like creating dialogue that enforces our culture to move in
Hmm.
a progressive manner.
Hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think we should always try to serve the culture first, and everything else will fall into place. The
Hmm.
accolades, the the prosperity, the financial gains, and all these
Hmm.
other things that we're heavily invested or focused on now in this generation in
Hmm.
this instant gratification
Yes.
society. You get what
Yes.
I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
because that's another thing with this. You guys want to just these fly by night AU programs and all these teams. You know what I mean? And they just want to start something and build a facility and
Yeah.
want success tomorrow.
Yeah.
But you got to put in your time, man. Like look at all the historical programs, the SBAs, the CIA bounce,
Yeah.
the Yaces of the world, like all those
Yeah.
prominent like programs, man. They were built on like a foundation, but they put their time in, man.
Mhm.
Before the EYBL, it was like, you know, the grassroots of AAU.
Mhm.
You know,
I agree. Yeah.
yeah, man. So it is refreshing to see though, like looking back 10, 15 years to seeing the transition now. Like,
Yeah.
if I would have ever thought like, you know, we had like a Canadian in the NBA All-Star game this year, I'll be like, no way, bro.
Yeah.
Like no way. But
Yeah.
that just shows how a testament of like how far we've come as a basketball
Yeah.
culture here in the North. You know.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I want to kind of take a little turn into what we do here on the podcast called Quick Hitters. So I'm just gonna, you know, dish out some rapid fire questions, and then you can kind of take your stab at it. So, your top 5 Canadian hooper list, and this can be a present or all time.
Okay, this is just for me.
Like
I have a
exactly,
list.
and it's like point guard, shooting guard,
okay.
guards, wings, bigs, whatever
Yeah.
you want. Like it can be 5 guards, whatever you want.
Yeah. Okay. So for me, growing up, my biggest like guys I looked up to and admired, and even now I'll mix it all in. I'd say Corey Joseph. Even though this guy was my age, like Wells Davis was doing some crazy things.
That name
Wells Davis. He's one of the coldest hoopers I ever seen.
Yeah.
Who else was there on bounce? I'd say Melvin. Just Melvin Ejim, like who he was on and off the court, how he carried himself. Like that's another guy for me. DeVoe Joseph, the way this guy like he did some legendary things. Just raising the bar, because I used to never think like you could go D1 from Canada. So, and then 5th, I would say just Tristan, because I saw him play when I was in like grade 7, and at the time he had guard skills, bro. Like, and then to just see like him go from Blue Devils, and then him and Corey are grassroots, and then they're at Finlay. They like, for me, really like made things possible. Like, oh, like Canadians can really get to that level. So those are my top 5, like who I'd say I'd like love the most.
Okay, and I guess I would say after that, who are the 5 toughest opponents you had to play in your career?
Michael Carter Williams.
Ooh, tough.
He was nasty, bro. Kayon Mayers. That guy was different.
Shout out to Mano.
Yeah,
man. That's a real legend right there, bro.
He is a legend. Guys need to tap in with his training.
Yeah, he was a killer, for real.
He was different.
He was different.
Corey Joseph. Who else would there be? What was this guy's name? Shamar Bennett, bro. He used to fry me in practice. His name is Shamar Bennett, a Toronto guy. And then 5th, I would say like there's just some guys you just can't do anything with. Like 5th, I would say Nick Stauskas when he was like in his senior year. Like that guy is just
St. Mark's.
St. Mark's, bro. It was just we played 1-on-1 at his crib, bro. I'll never forget it. No one ever has fried me like this. Nobody, bro. I didn't score. I didn't touch the ball, bro. All jump shots. I said, yo, what the heck? Nah, that was my top 5 guys who like the toughest.
Yeah, no, Nick, y'all went to the same high school too, right?
Yeah, we grew up playing together from like grade 7 on the Monarchs. So then we went to the same high school, and then it was we played in the same prep conference type thing.
Yeah, he was, man. I don't know what it was that year. I think he grew.
Like it was out of nowhere.
Yeah, I used to hear because he played Team Ontario that year with like all the Scarborough guys, and they're like, yo, he used to like do like these stretching routines.
Yeah.
He just came back and he was like he was like 6'4", 6'5",
Yeah,
bro.
yeah,
And then you know, he went to prep school, and then he's Michigan with Cherry Burke, and like,
yeah.
man, it's just to see even him, like, I think his story as well, man, is one
Hmm.
of like the unsung hero stories, bro. Because that guy, you know, he really, really went from nothing to
Hmm.
something, bro. Because
Hmm.
I remember in Canada at one point, like, he was like good, but like he wasn't considered like the top guy,
No,
you know.
not at all.
And that just goes to show you
Yeah,
how crazy our class was, you know.
yeah, 100%, bro.
Yeah,
He came out of nowhere.
yeah. And I guess I was gonna ask you your I guess the top basketball coach like in Canadian history. Like, who do you
Uh,
think that is?
for me, um, Coach Nicky Davis, um, bro, that guy taught me like that guy changed. That guy's a life changer right there, Coach Nicky. Um, and then I would say also Coach Mike George. To be honest, he's an agent now, but like a lot of guys like say, oh, his attitude, this and that. One thing I could respect about him is that he always kept it real. Like if you thought you weren't good, if you thought you could improve on something, like he's not afraid to call you out. So him, those are two, and then I would say one of the assistant coaches when I was at Cape Breton, his name is Coach Len Harvey. He's went on to win like 4 conference titles. He's constantly going to nationals. Um, and then I would say what's his name from Carleton? Dave Smart, obviously is
Oh, Coach Smart.
Dave Smart, and then top five, number 5 would be Bob Mado. Bob Mado is a like Toronto legendary coach, Coach Phil
Legend.
Dixon.
Emery, right?
Yeah, Emery. He
Yeah,
coached me for a year. I learned so much about him, about life, basketball, everything.
yeah. That's a legendary list right there. Bob
Yeah.
Mado. Shout out to Toronto legend right
Yeah.
there, for real. Yeah, man. And then if you could rewind time, would you rather be in this new age generation of hoops or like the golden era?
Honestly, I loved our era. I just I just wish we had like obviously I think it was just if there was more like skill trainers, like I didn't know about Vlad until I was in college. I didn't know he did skill training.
Mm,
So and then that's the only trainer I knew. So I think I'm good with how our careers turned out. I think a lot of guys still made it. If we had more infrastructure, more guys would have made it for sure. But
yeah,
yeah, I prefer our era, bro. It was just a different time.
yeah, for real, bro. I don't think that era will ever be duplicated, bro.
Yeah,
But you know, with that being said, it's good to kind of, like I said, go to the gym now and see these young bucks. It's like you gotta show me something for me to respect you.
100%.
Whereas we respected like guys that we knew that were competitive, that
Yeah,
were skilled, you know. But here is like this generation, like they don't respect nothing until you show them, you know.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, bro, it's crazy, man. But yo, bro, I just want to, you know, like I said, take the time to, you know, kind of give you your flowers here on our platform, man, and just to let you know that, you know, the things that you're doing in the community, obviously in the basketball culture is you know never gonna be taken for granted, bro. I think that you know you are onto something great in the media space, bro, and I see future collaborations coming, and
100%.
you know, like I said, continue to impart your wisdom, bro, and you know, give back to the communities like you've been doing, bro. And like I said, if there's any way we can collab in the future, definitely we'll connect offline, bro.
Mm-hmm. No, 100%, bro. I got a bunch of ideas I'm thinking about too right now. So I definitely want to. I think it'd be great to have you in it, and a couple other guys. So we could definitely connect on that. And I just want to thank you, bro, for inspiring guys like me, um, and just seeing your hustle, your grind, bro. Like just not being afraid of failure or perception of society, because people are afraid to go after what they believe in because they're afraid of how they'll be perceived. So seeing your drive to go to New York, to go network, to go post a million times and not care about looking a certain way, bro, like that's done a lot for me. So I really appreciate you and the things that you're doing for the community, bro. So keep it up, bro, and you are appreciated for real.
Appreciate you, bro. For real, it's love. And yeah, man. Before we tap out, man, just let the guys know where they can kind of get tapped in with your content. If you have any upcoming events or anywhere they can kind of connect with you.
So we have the Northway Pro-Am coming up. We're looking at hosting in Mississauga this year. Last year was in Burlington, and the turnout was crazy. I was so surprised. So look out for that. And then I would say connect with us on the Northway on Instagram. We're on Twitter. We're on TikTok. Check out the website. There's a bunch of stuff we can, if you want to do some collabs, whatever, or just get in contact. You just kind of hit us on those platforms.
All right, man. You heard from the man himself, my boy Kayon Mayers, founder of the Northway, doing extremely blessing work in the community, man. We're checking out here on Culture Conversation. It's your host, Twingq. We'll be tapping in next week for a special episode. I can't give too much, but just stay tuned and subscribe to our channel on YouTube, Amazon Music, Tidal, all the leading subscribing and streaming platforms across the Northeast. All right, peace.
Peace.